Hello students. Yesterday we have discussed the important topics regarding to the chapter dual nature of radiation and light matter, and in that chapter we have first discussed the law of photoelectric emission, and even I have just told you and discussed the Leonard and Halvor's observation, and with the help of Leonard and Halvor's observations how can they give the law of photoelectric emissions. We have discussed it, and experimental observation, and how can you do experimental study for the photoelectric effect, and also the photoelectric current that we are obtaining in the output. How can we compare them, how can we understand them, on which factor it is depending on. So simple, the variation of photoelectric current that can be affected by so many factors, like whenever intensity of incidence radiation that is increasing, then with increase in intensity of radiation there is increase in number of ejected photoelectrons, and obviously if number of ejected photoelectrons that are increasing, then photoelectric current that will increase. Second factor on which it is dependent on, that is the frequency of radiation. So then the frequency of radiation increases or decreases the kinetic energy of ejected photoelectrons. So simple, in one way, one word you can say that the intensity of radiation or number of ejected photoelectrons that is depending on the intensity of radiation, and the kinetic energy of that electron that is dependent on the frequency of the radiation. So number of ejected photoelectrons that doesn't depend on the frequency of the radiation, only kinetic energy, change in kinetic energy, that will be dependent on that factor. Clear? So obviously if kinetic energy of electrons that will increase, then more electrons or the electrons which were not able to reach to the anode, that can also reach to anode easily with greater energy. So that factor also affect the photoelectric current. Third factor that is affecting, that is the potential we have applied at the anode. So we have seen that when we apply positive potential on anode, then definitely anode will attract ejected photoelectrons, but when we apply negative potential on anode, then it will start to repel these electrons, then definitely electrons, the collection of electrons at anode that will decrease, and the current in the circuit that will also decrease, and ultimately at certain potential it becomes zero. So that potential is known as stopping potential. So value of stopping potential is dependent on the frequency of radiation, because if kinetic energy will increase, then even at that potential some of the electrons can reach to the anode. So our stopping potential will be different for different kinetic energy, different frequency of radiation, but it is independent of the intensity of radiation. So all these factors and variations, guys, I think that should be clear to you. Before clarification of this, you cannot understand other factors. And the last thing on which it is dependent on, that is photometals that we are using for the photoelectric emission. So if you change the metallic surface, then obviously its work function will change, and it will need different energy for the photoelectronic emission. So obviously photometals also changes the ejected photoelectrons, or simple, it changes the photoelectric current also. So, and in the summarized way, the law of photoelectric emission, that is, first point is number of ejected photoelectrons that is dependent on the intensity of radiation, not on the frequency of radiation. Second, the kinetic energy of ejected electron that is dependent on the frequency of radiation but not on the intensity of radiation. Third factor, the stopping potential that is dependent on the frequency of radiation. Fourth factor, there is no time lag between the incidence and emission of photoelectron. Means at the time when radiation will incident on metallic surface, at the same time electrons will be ejected from that surface. There is no time lag between them. So these are called the laws of photoelectric emission, and Einstein, you know that already we have have learned it, but still let's see them because this is very important topics in dual nature of radiation and matter. So Einstein tried to give a satisfactory explanation for the photoelectric phenomena using quantum model, using particle model here. So when Einstein successfully explained this, from that time new physics, new theory that is started, that is called dual theory, dual nature of radiation, because he used particle concept of the radiation here. And now today let's see what is Einstein photoelectric equation and how he explained the photoelectric emission or photoelectric effect with the help of Planck's quantum concept. So first of all, Planck's quantum concept, let's see that. After that we will discuss Einstein photoelectric emission. So actually Planck assumed that light is made up of a large number of particles. As light we are seeing, that is supposed to be just like the wave, and that is already proved by so many experiments, and even Huygens proposed that theory, Maxwell established and used the wave theory for the explanation of the electromagnetic wave, and he successfully explained that also before the discovery of photoelectric emission. So Planck gave lastly idea that light is made up of a large number of photons, large number of particles, and each particle is known as one quanta or one photon, and each quanta or each photon has energy E is equal to h nu, where h is Planck constant and nu is frequency of that particular radiation or light. Means simple that the energy of radiation is directly proportional to the frequency of that radiation. So and also, if in summarized way you want to see all the energy of whole of the light, then simple that will be something integral multiple of h nu. So this was the concept, and the integral multiple concept like n equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 will be there. If 2 photons are in the light beam, then obviously the energy, total energy will be 2 h nu. 3 is the 3 h nu, 4 is 4 h nu. So we are seeing that here integral multiple of h nu, and means there will be no fractional energy in the system, there will be only discrete energy in the system. So a particle concept, a discrete concept is started from here. A continuous concept is denied here whenever we are talking about the particle concept. Clear? So Einstein used his idea for the explanation of photoelectric effect. So he told us that when light incident on the metal, then the electrons which is getting this energy, that electron used this energy in two ways. So suppose that in any metal the electron that is revolving, so obviously if this electron is revolving and you have to remove this electron from this metal, then obviously metal will have some work function or some potential barrier it will feel, because you already know that due to attractive forces between this and this, it will be bound to it, and obviously if you have to make them free, then you have to add some energy. So the energy required to remove one electron from the metallic surface, that is its work function. So first of all, if a photon that is or radiation that is incident on this metallic surface, then this electron receive this whole of energy. One more thing is there, electron will receive always whole of energy of one photon, whether it is sufficient or insufficient or greater the amount of energy this radiation has, whatever energy it has, always whenever photon will incident on the metallic surface, one photon will give whole of its energy to one electron. So this theory you have to understand from here. There will be no case of some of the energy photon is transferring to it, some of the energy return. This is not the concept. the Planck's idea is this simple: whenever light will incident on the any metallic plate, then one photon will transfer whole of its energy with the collision of this electron. And obviously, if this concept we are taking, it means that we are taking the concept of elastic collision here. In the case of a perfectly elastic collision, actually perfectly elastic collision, this moving particle that transfers whole of its energy to this rest particle, and after that this rest particle comes into the motion. So this is the concept of perfectly elastic collision. So here a perfectly elastic collision between photons and electron takes place. So this suppose that this photon has transferred whole of its energy to this electron, and this electron receives this energy. Now how will it this electron will use this energy? So first way that it will first try to overcome this potential barrier so that it can make it free. So suppose that phi 0, this is the energy that is needed to free one electron, this electron from the system. So it first of all phi 0 energy it will use to overcome this potential barrier. After that it is free to move, it escaped from the metallic surface. Now whenever it escaped from the metallic surface, then obviously still some of the energy it has. So that energy this electron will use to increase its kinetic energy. So it will use to increase its kinetic energy. So this is the Einstein concept. Actually very simple concept is that don't have to be confused. And actually if you are confused with this factor, why did he get Nobel Prize for this? So later I will tell you it, and even I have told you already, but still I will tell you this. So the concept is that this energy of one photon that electron has used in two ways. First is to overcome this potential barrier and to increase its kinetic energy. So this is known as the Einstein photoelectric relation. In other way you can also write it. So suppose that electron needed minimum energy phi 0 to overcome the potential barrier. Clear? So it means that we also know that nu 0 means some of the energy that it is needed. So suppose that S nu 0 energy it is needed to overcome the potential barrier. So nu 0 is the threshold frequency. As I have told you already, the frequency, minimum frequency that is needed for the photoelectric emission or for the overcome of the potential barrier, that is known as threshold frequency. And if we multiply simple as into this, then obviously it will be equal to work function of the metal. Means we are needed this energy to remove one electron from its metallic surface. So in place of phi 0 you can also write this value. So let's write it. There are so many forms of Einstein photoelectric equation. You can write all the forms here. So this will be S nu is equal to S nu 0 plus kinetic energy, or in other words we can write H nu minus nu 0. This is equal to kinetic energy. So we can calculate kinetic energy of ejected photoelectron with the help of this expression if we already know the energy of photon and the or simple frequency of incident radiation and threshold frequency for that radiation. So if we know that, then we can calculate what is the kinetic energy of ejected electron. You can also calculate what is the velocity of ejected electron with the help of it. With the help of this you can calculate it. And even we know that the stopping potential that is dependent on the factor kinetic frequency of radiation and frequency of radiation that is responsible for the kinetic energy of radiation. So suppose that we are applying V0 stopping potential, means obviously at this stopping potential only which electron can reach to the anode? The electron that will have maximum energy that can only reach to that point. So obviously the maximum kinetic energy the electron that has maximum kinetic energy that can reach to anode even at a stopping potential, but still if we increase again the potential, negative potential, then that electron will also stop to reach there and ultimately the current becomes zero. So at stopping potential, this is equal to maximum kinetic energy. Clear? And also in this case, if suppose that we are talking about the outermost electron, for the free electron we are talking about, then obviously for free electrons you know that it needed minimum energy to make it free, because it is in the outer subcell and there the attractive forces of nucleus is smaller, so obviously it needs smaller energy than the core electrons. Then if this energy is smaller for that electron, then kinetic energy for that electron will be obviously maximum. So in place of it you can also write for that electron it maximum kinetic energy or V maximum here, and we can also use this expression in place of it if we want to calculate stopping potential with the help of this expression. So finally what we get in summarized way, let's write it. So this is EV0, that is equal to half m V maximum square, means maximum kinetic energy, that is equal to S mu by mu0. So this is the Einstein's photoelectric relation that relates the kinetic energy of ejected photoelectrons, stopping potential, and also relates the energy of radiation and work function. So easily with the help of this expression we can calculate all the values, we can explain even easily the laws of photoelectric emission. So guys, I think the concept of Einstein's photoelectric relation, that is clear to you. Simple. Here in case of Einstein we have to only take one, actually one in one word, it is very simple. The thing is that the energy of one photon that is totally transferred to one electron, there is no fraction of energy that will be transferred, whole of its energy that will be transferred to that electron, and that electron will use this energy in two ways. First, to overcome the potential barrier, and second, to increase its kinetic energy. So if we are talking about the valence electron, we are talking about the free electrons, then that free electron will need minimum energy to remove the potential barrier due to its existence in outer orbit, and also it will use rest of its energy, rest of the energy of photons, that will to increase its kinetic energy. So obviously it will have maximum kinetic energy. So that maximum kinetic energy will be equal to this value. So this expression is the Einstein's photoelectric expression. Now let's see how can we explain the laws of photoelectric emission with the help of this formula or with the help of Einstein's concept. So the first expression is that the kinetic energy of ejected photoelectrons that is dependent on the frequency of radiation. So with the help of this formula we are seeing that the kinetic energy of photoelectrons that is totally dependent on this factor. From here you can see here kinetic energy is directly proportional to the frequency of radiation. If suppose that for any electron, for your supposition only, work function is 0, then in that case obviously it will be directly proportional to the frequency. Otherwise here also this is the difference of frequency, then definitely kinetic energy is dependent on the frequency. So first law of photoelectric emission, that is cleared here. The kinetic energy of ejected photoelectrons that is totally dependent on the frequency, not the dependent on the intensity. Second factor, if intensity of radiation that will change, then with the change in intensity, here no factor that is affected from it. It means that only number of electrons that are directly proportional to it, because with intensity we know that amplitude of the oscillation that will increase, and due to that energy will be transferred to the greater electron and greater number of electrons that will be ejected from the system. So simple, number of ejected photoelectrons that is dependent on the intensity of incident radiation. Second law is also proved. Third law is that here we have taken the concept of perfectly elastic collision, and we know that in case of perfectly elastic collision there is no time lag between the collision or the scattering of that particular particle or mass. It means that when photon will incident on any metallic plate, then it will transfer, means at the time it will transfer its energy to the electron, and at the same time electron will eject from the system. As there is perfectly elastic collision, there is no delay in the energy taking and to remove from the surface. So at the same time we are getting the energy or we are getting simple the photoelectric current whenever the radiation is incident on it. Okay? Fourth thing is that here we can see that no electron will be ejected whenever this frequency is less than this frequency nu 0. Obviously, if this frequency is less than nu 0, then for that this whole expression that will be negative. Nu 0 is less than this, then kinetic energy that will be negative. And negative kinetic energy concept is not possible. It means that no electron can have negative kinetic energy. In other words, no electron will be ejected from the metallic surface, means no photoelectric current will obtain, no photoelectric effect will obtain until we are using the energy greater than this threshold frequency. At energy equal to this threshold frequency, kinetic energy will be 0. So electron will eject, but it will not have kinetic energy to reach the anode. At that time, if we are applying greater potential to anode, greater positive potential, then we can attract that electron. Means some of the electronic emission can take obtained from that thing. But it is more suitable that if we are using the frequency greater than this threshold frequency, then we get easily the photoelectric effect. So the concept is that the minimum energy, minimum frequency is required for the photoelectronic emission, otherwise there will be no electron that can eject from the metallic surface, so no photoelectric effect will obtain there. So this minimum frequency is known as threshold frequency, cutoff frequency. So that concept also established from the Einstein's photoelectric relation. So and also the concept of the dependency of stopping potential on the frequency, that is also established from here. You can see that with this equation, this V0 is depending on the frequency of the incident radiation. So finally the laws of photoelectric emission, that is successfully explained by the Einstein concept, Einstein's photoelectric relation. So whatever we have discussed for the photoelectric emission and Einstein's relation, that is I think clear to you. And even how can we discuss the concept of laws of photoelectric emission with the help of Einstein's photoelectric equation. So here the most important factor is that Einstein used particle concept for the explanation of photoelectric emission. He used radiation as a particle nature. He haven't used that radiation as the wave nature here. The most important factor is here that he used particle concept, not the wave concept. So if a particle is incident on any particle, then obviously it will collide with that particle, and due to collision it will transfer its energy, and due to addition of energy that electron will overcome the potential barrier and that will eject from the surface. So this is the more accurate concept for this. So from here the particle concept is accepted and a new concept that is started from here. That's why Einstein got Nobel Prize for this explanation. Actually this explanation is very important because he used a different aspects here. Even you can see that he established the Planck concept, Planck's idea of the particle theory, of the quantum theory. So that's why you can see that Einstein did a great job for the establishment of the quantum concept for the microscopic physics, because we are using this time Bayes, Bose and other factors all day by day we are working on the micro scale, and that is possible only due to these assumptions of the particle concept. After that the quantum concept has been established and we are working on that. So this is the importance of the concept of particle physics here and particle concept of the radiation. So I think the factor that is I think clear to you. And here one more thing, uh, here why the wave theory has been failed, this question is also very important. So in case of wave theory, first of all we have learned that wave has if intensity of wave that is increasing, then with increase in intensity of wave obviously the amplitude will increase. It means that you can say that displacement is increasing, and with the help of displacement you can say that velocity is increasing. Then if velocity is increasing, then kinetic energy will also increase. Means according to wave concept, if kinetic energy if intensity of radiation that will increase, then the kinetic energy of ejected photoelectrons that will also increase. So this concept is totally wrong. We know that the kinetic energy is of ejected photoelectrons that is dependent on the frequency, not on the intensity of radiation. Clear? So that's why you can say that wave theory has been failed to explain the photoelectric concept. Second concept is that wave theory takes the concept of the wave concept of the electromagnetic wave. It means that whenever radiation will incidence on any surface, then obviously that radiation is continuous, then that will be uniform over all surface. It means that all electrons that will get equal amount of energy, means energy will be distributed to the all electrons uniformly or symmetrically. So in that way no of the electrons that will be able to overcome the potential barrier, or in other words we are saying that the fraction of energy that is distributed to the system, and in that fraction of energy, if suppose that if all electrons are getting uniform energy, then in that case some of the electrons will free, but some of the electrons will not free from the system. And second factor is that obviously if uniform or distribution of energy is taking place here, then there will be it will take some time to distribute energy among all the electrons, and if electron is overcoming the potential barrier after taking that energy, then there will be some time taken by the electron within for this process. So it means that some of the time lag that will exist between the incidence of radiation and between the ejected photoelectrons. So overall we are talking about the time lag between these two incidents, but we already know that according to law of photoelectric emission there is no time lag between incidence radiation and emission of ejected photoelectrons. Clear? I think that's why also wave theory has been failed. Third concept is that according to wave concept, if frequency of the radiation that is increasing, it means that the greater energy that will be distributed to the electrons, and if electron will get greater amount of energy, then they can emit in greater number. So it means that number of ejected photoelectrons that is depending on the frequency of radiation, and we already know that the ejected number of photoelectrons that is dependent on the intensity, not on the frequency. So that's why this law of photoelectric emission is also failed with the help of wave theory. So obviously you can say that in summarized way, wave theory is failed to explain the concept of photoelectric emission or the experimental observation of the photoelectric emission. because the laws of photoelectric emissions are nothing but it is experimental result of the photoelectric emission effect that we have performed, and we have seen that. So it is failed, then obviously we are needed a new concept, and that concept was provided by the Planck, and even Einstein used his idea and he explained successfully all the concept. So the dual nature of radiation that is established from here. So the concept here is that the photoelectric concept that is explained successfully with the help of particle concept. Later the one more effect, that is Compton effect, is Stark effect. There are so many effects are here, and that all effects has been successfully explained with the help of particle concepts also. So difficulties arise after the establishment of particle physics, that is where we have to take wave concept and where we have to take particle concept. Or light can have two types of nature. How is it possible to perform two types of nature for any radiation? So later this concept was totally accepted, and it has told us that simple light possesses dual nature. So light is made up of the particles, and if that particles are in motion, we know that particles will oscillate. Obviously in electromagnetic radiation there are oscillating electric and magnetic field. So if electric and magnetic field that are oscillating, then due to their oscillation a wave is constituted, you know that. So obviously if wave is constituted, then that time it will possess this wave concept. So simple here, no, nothing to be confused. Only whenever particle will be in motion, then that time it will constitute the wave. So this concept is that whenever we are taking some concept where the rest of the position of the particle radiation that is needed, so there we need the particle concept, and whenever there is a motion of the particle that is needed, there we will take wave concept. Simple, I think, clear. So that's why we have explained successfully reflection, refraction, other phenomena with the, even reflection we can explain with the both phenomena, because you know that particles also show the reflection nature. So that's why we can also explain this with the help of that. But other phenomena like diffraction, interference, other all phenomena has been explained successfully with the help of wave concept, and other concept where particle emission is a concept or a scattering concept is arises, there we are taking the particle concept. So both of the concepts are complementary to each other, they are not in opposing nature. So we have to accept both the nature of this, because they both are complementary, they complete the electromagnetic wave, they complete the radiation nature. So I think guys, the dual nature, the concept of dual nature, that is clear. So we have today discussed the dual nature of radiation here. So later we will discuss in next class what is the dual nature of matter, and what is the de Broglie concept, and what is its importance also. So we will discuss that in next class. For today, let's end it here. Later we will discuss all the things. So just to make the revisions on all the chapters, guys, try to understand all the concepts and just solve the numerical problem based on it. Try to solve the concept of wave and particle in details.